morning, anymore.
Good morning.
And how are we doing this morning?
Oh, fantastic, until I saw your picture on Facebook clearly.
Which one?
The one that you are doing 10-year challenge.
The 10-year challenge.
Yeah.
God has been good, hasn't
over good.
Yes. It's a very powerful picture.
Yeah.
And Raymond, I was enjoying your series of pictures because you have about 7 or 8 pictures.
I'll remove you from the page. Yes.
No, but I no, Raymond, God has been
good.
God has been good to you.
Yeah.
Yes,
because is that what you are going to?
Oh, yes, God has been good. Because when I look at where you were 10 years ago, and I look at even the quality of the picture right now.
Yeah. If I look at George Jr.'s own.
Hey, no, but George has to win.
God has been good to my deacon.
Hey, the most 10-year challenge. I don't know if that's an expression. The most 10-year challenge is George Jr. I mean, the shape of his face has improved significantly.
All the holes have been filled up.
Hallelujah.
No, not holes. They were galleys.
We've gone from wager rage to N1.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, George, yes. I think that we'll post... Okay, so you can check any of our social media walls, but we'll try and post our 10-year challenges on your official handle.
I'm looking for Enimwa, so it looks like she's doing something.
Yes. Enimwa. I mean,
what to see then and now.
Yeah, so moving on, whilst you guys are doing the 10-year challenge, yes. I'm taking advice from Insedu Nketi about getting married. Yes. So we would
can you believe
that? Giving marriage advice.
So wait. So he's now general marriage counselor?
Yes, please. Very, very good advice.
No. Counselor Mosquito. I think that's better. Okay, so let's start with the front pages before.
The Daily Dispatch is reporting this morning, a retired police officer's revelations. I arrested Namwan in 2012 for defrauding 53 persons. IES exposes government. There's no oil discovery in Ghana. And again, there's a story on Namwan. He was arrested in Dubai 5 weeks ago. We brought you that story yesterday. And housing conditions in Accra, Cape Coast, and Tema to occupy the attention of Daily Dispatch in the coming days.
On the back page of the Daily Graphic, earth tremor hits Accra again. 2 dead, 6 injured in Lavanya Youth Military Crossfire. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, government officials chase Men's Gold CEO in Dubai. Placement system for tertiary institutions in offing. That's according to Professor Kwesi Yanka. Prosecutions will start soon. Martin Amidu has been speaking.
Now, the Ghanaian Times is reporting this morning, police arrest houseboy of murdered public affairs manager and the late Mrs. Josephine Asante on the front page of the paper. And of course, Namwan is big time. This time around, he's, Arabian outlook, you know what I'm saying?
It fits where he is.
Yeah.
Though I doubt the prison uniforms look like that.
No, not at all. The evidence is there.
On the front... Okay, now, are you done?
Yes, but there's a New Year school story on the front page. Let's build strong institutions to consolidate country's democracy. This is according to Professor Achuayi.
Okay, on the front page of the Daily Guide, NDC sues EC over by-election. Also that story about the Attorney General and others going to Dubai for Namwan. Sexual assault suspected in Temameda case.
Now, there's a story on the front page of the Finder you should be interested in. 44 perish in fire outbreaks. This is 2018 alone. 44 human beings in this country died within that space. And TUC proposes 15% downward review of utility tariffs. There is also Yoko silence on Namwan saga. Very worrying. That's on the front page of the Finder. Databank is refuting claims of dealing in gold collectibles. Now nobody wants to be in that industry. No. This refuting.
No, they were saying that they are dealing in gold collectibles. Those were the rumors making rounds on social media. So they want to clear the air on that, which I think is important. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, okay. The front page of the Daily Statesman. Cocoa Board fires Mahama over dirty cocoa politics. And by far the most riveting story on the front page of the Daily Statesman. Don't marry NPP men, in Ketia tells NDC women.
Or should we say counselor?
Yes.
Mosquito. It works. I think it has a ring to it.
The New Crusading Guide is reporting this morning that police criticized for aiding land guards to demolish offices of Mastec Engineering. There's one on Rawlings denying investing in Men's Gold. We read to you that story yesterday. Yeah. It's not the only person denying. Kake Sama says no. A tall list of people. Virtually everybody
who's on Blackwa yesterday on PMX.
Yes, we beg you. I'm not.
Okay, and finally from me, 2 papers on the front front page of the Today newspaper. Plot against minister exposed. 2 killed in Lavanya clashes. Fulanis seize Agogo. That's the front page of the Today. And the Business and Financial Times. Stock market to rebound in 2019. GATT open to potential lawsuits. That's according to a banking analyst. And software to verify tax stamps are to be ready by March.
So let's get into the details, and of course, we have to start with the biggest story, Raymond. Nam1 has been nabbed.
Yes, apparently this happened a month ago. So whilst we were still discussing in this country, whilst Amanda Clinton was writing letters to state institutions demanding answers, the man was with was with the authorities in the UAE. I mean, we understand he was arrested on December 7th and 2018. That's a police statement issued. Is actually giving a clarification. This is even before the Accra Circuit Court issued a warrant, which is on January 9th.
Yeah.
So the warrant came a month later, plus 2 extra days in this case.
Oh, so the man, he was already in prison, and someone somewhere issued another warrant for his arrest.
Yes.
Oh, two troubles,
of
one
course.
God.
And we also alerted Interpol within the same space of time. 294 countries when the man was already in prison.
But I am curious, because at what point then did he inform Yoko? Did he inform his captors that he wants to call Yoko and call his father? Because we understand that is how this reached the ears of Ghana.
Actually, one of the immediate rights of a person who's been captured in any country is the ability to first reach the family. Even the state can come later, but reach the family is one of the most human rights, basic ones. So it's not stated in any of the correspondence in the paper, in the police statement and all of that, but it's one of the rights that the man has available to him. And we know that in this country, the man is wanted for defrauding by false pretense and alleged money laundering. You sure have known that. The CID boss have told us this before, and we've explained here before that, I mean, at least 10 years, defrauding by false pretense and loans, at least 10 years.
Yeah.
But if you have heard the workers, they're saying that what they wanted really is the man giving them back their money, and that...
You mean the customers, not the workers?
Yes, the customers, yes, the men's gold customers. They say they want their monies. We've heard harrowing stories of how people are coping, others are not coping with the situation, and the stories keep on coming up from different quarters, and that's what's been happening so far. But there's an outstanding issue.
No, I asked the question, Raymond.
Yes,
I asked the question. I want to clarify that on Sunday, January 13, I'm reading the statement that was released by the CID.
Yes.
On Sunday, January 13, Ghanaian officials in Dubai were informed by Emirati officials that they had already arrested Nam1 as of December 7, 2018. So that this must be around that time.
We were informed a whole month later.
Yes, by the Dubai officials. This is where, Raymond, I think you must give us some insight. International Affairs Avatar. Let us know, first of all, when someone is caught and he's a foreign national, what happens next? Okay,
so specifically, Article 36 of the UN specific provision, that's the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations.
Yes.
The 36 specifically gives rights to the person that has been arrested. In this case, how states relate in this particular case is also stated there. Now, 1CB is very important, and that 1CB specifically states that now, if he so requests, that is the person that has been arrested. If he so requests, the competent authorities of the receiving state shall, without delay, inform the consular post of the sending state if within its consular district a national of the state is arrested or addressed to the consular post by the person arrested in prison custody, or detention, and shall be forwarded by the same authorities without delay.
Okay.
There's a key part to that. Without delay, the said authority shall inform the person concerned without delay of his rights under this paragraph. Of course, the rights are, it has to be in a language the man understands, why he's being held, and all of this. Of course, I'm not doubting that has been done. There's an addendum to that that's important, because many may want to think that what probably would happen later on, and this is sometimes even backed by, there's a court case. In fact, the ICJ and other international law tribunals have ruled that
International Courts of Justice.
Yes, and other international tribunals have ruled that this right also includes a duty on all consulates to visit their detained nationals and attend their trials as well.
Okay.
In this case, yes.
So in simple terms, UAE was supposed to have told Ghana as soon as Nam1 was arrested that, look, we have your national here.
The operative word there is without delay.
Without delay. Was that done? I doubt it, because we learned from the statements that This was done on the 7th on
arrest,
Sunday.
Yes.
The arrest was done on the 7th of December.
Then,
and the information was given on Sunday, the 13th of January.
A month and some weeks later, that is when the information was given.
Okay, that means it's really out of the hands of our officials whether or not we could have gone to pick him up, because at that time, efforts were being made to get him. We'll come to this story in more detail during the show, but listen to this first.
We, strictly speaking, do not have that treaty with the UAE for extradition as such. But we're going to elevate this to law and diplomacy so that we try and get to the bottom of the matter there. If there are no specific charges he's answering in the UAE, and I repeat that, if there are no specific charges that he's answering in the UAE, all will be done within the remits of the law and diplomacy to get him extradited to Ghana to face
Joseph Dindiok Pemka is the Deputy Attorney General, speaking on Newsnight last night. We'll be hearing from him again today on the show. He'll be giving us some details of what happens now. Anyone take us to Lavanya?
Yes, so the DCOP, Mr. Francis Ebenezer Doku, has been speaking, and we know that 2 people were shot dead and 6 injured on Sunday, January 13th. So what happened is that the police received some information that the youth of Lavanya Jodbeje were massing up arms in the community. So 6 police personnel were deployed to the area to retrieve those arms. Now, when they got into the community, they were attacked, as it were, by some of the youth, and the youth took an AK-47 rifle and 3 handcuffs from them. They retreated at that point. What they did then was that they went to the Bando Divisional Command of the police to report that this is what had happened. The Bando Divisional Command of the police then turned to the military for help in getting those arms back. Then the military went into the community to go and have some discussions with the chief so that they could come to a sort of peaceful place where the arms were given back. What happened is that during the meeting with the chiefs, the youth turned off the lights in the town. So there was a blackout. So then the military came out of that meeting because at that point it became difficult for them to continue. Now, as they came out and were walking through the town, there were gunshots. People, the youth apparently or allegedly were shooting at them. And so they shot back. And in the process of shooting back, that's how come 2 people died and 6 people were interested. The bodies have been deposited at the morgue, and DCOP Mr. Doku says that the Volta Regional Security Council will be moving to the scene to investigate the cause and try and get those arms back from the youth in the community.
I'm glad the bodies have been retrieved finally, because Raymond, you remember that yesterday, and anyway, this will interest you so much. The youth went to the police station to tell them that it's because the police who killed the people, they should come.
Yeah.
And the police said that, look, the place is volatile, so we cannot come there. So you bring the bodies. So what the youth did was that they covered the bodies with leaves. And they said that we are waiting, come and pick them up. And so, I mean, for them to finally be able to retrieve the bodies, I think that's a little cool that happened yesterday.
And again, Moraga has been contesting it. The Queen Mother of the Lavanya area, she's been contesting the claim that these people were shot because they were engaged in some act that was not legal. She believes that they were caught up in some crossfire, but they didn't do anything wrong, and the police cannot blame the killing of the people on they themselves. And that, in fact, it says 80%. She says 80% of the conflict is gone. So this need for them to invade and do things like they are having some extraordinary situation is not fair, and that there should be true justice given to her people.
Yes. Speaking of death, Raymond, and unfortunately so, let's talk about the fire outbreaks, 44 dead.
Yes, now, the fire service have put out statistics on what the real situation is in 2018. This indicates that 44 people perished while 64 sustained various degrees of injuries in the various fire disasters across the country. In fact, the 2018 disaster represented 3% increase compared to the 33 people who died in 2017. The regional breakdowns are also in the finder and all of the details that you want in there, but it brings us back to having serious fires at home, which still is our major fire cause, and electrical wiring being a huge source of sin. Recently, we heard the Ghana Standards Authority talking about how they have replaced almost 80% or 80% of the wires we bring into the country to wire our homes are not in the best of standards. They don't meet up the standards that we want. Hopefully, we can improve the standards in those areas and reduce the fire outbreaks in the country.
Exactly, especially since a building code has also been launched by the Vice President. Let me go to you. you, Nimwa, as you take us to the sexual assault that is suspected in the Tema case.
Yes, so yesterday we talked about Miss Josephine Asante Tando, the Public Affairs and Marketing Manager of GPHA, and we know the story that she had, there was an end-of-year party or something like that in Tema Community 6. She came home, she had been followed. Apparently, apart from the fact that she had been followed, there were also some men waiting in the house already. Her body was taken to the morgue, and it appears that there are traces of semen, in her private parts, so they are suspecting that she may have been sexually assaulted. The police are saying they also found gunshot wounds at the back of her head, but they do believe that she was suffocated with a pillowcase, which is how come she died. They also found cuts on her chin, forehead, right eyebrow, and other parts of her body. Her houseboy, her 22-year-old houseboy, Christian Ajay, has been taken into custody to assist in the investigation. Apparently, he was taken in. They found some money on him and a wristwatch of the deceased, which he had buried behind his window. At the boys' quarters. Apparently, he may have some information. He did say he saw somebody run away from the house, a man in a black shirt and a pair of jeans. He's alleging that this was the killer and was running away from the house. So we'll keep our eye on that story.
Yeah, Maxwell was there yesterday, and when he was reporting yesterday on Joy News today, he was describing the level of security that is really at this place. And I was wondering, how could someone break into a gated community with all these high fences and what have you? But we'll be following with this story, like Enimwa said. Raymond, a cop and 2 others have been nabbed for robbery.
Yes, that's what the Ghanaian Times is reporting. And this particular incident is said to have happened somewhere around. Of course, I mean, the guy said he's also the policeman. He said he's a national security officer. And he's actually robbed a man of 5,460 Ghana cedi. His name is Lance Corporal Nathaniel Akomia, and he's with the National Formed Police Unit. Remember the Formed Police Unit? The Formed Police Unit is our extraordinary unit for response to major problems. Remember the guys who were...
Yes, the FPU.
Yes, it's a very important
SWAT,
unit.
isn't it?
Yes. And that's what the problem is in this case. And the police itself is saying that people like that will be sent out of the unit to make sure that they deal with them whenever they find them. And this man and his rest are being arrested. They are being prosecuted and possibly jailed for engaging in robbery.
Right, thanks, Raymond. And let's end a bit on the newspapers. Martin Amido has been speaking about prosecutors being nabbed. But anymore, Councillor Mosquito.
Yes, so Councillor General Mosquito has been speaking. Now he was speaking at the women's wing of the NDC, and he was speaking to the women's wing. So he was encouraging members of the NDC to marry each other. His reason being they will produce children who will grow to support the NDC like the NPP did. Now he used a very good example, President Akufo-Addo, stating that President Akufo-Addo's father married an NPP woman, and thus Akufo-Addo was raised in the spirit and the heart of the NPP. It's also important to note that Akufo-Addo's father, uncle, and grandfather, all part of the Big Six, and they all married within the party. Therefore, it is very important that we marry, the NDC people marry within the party. The problem over the years has been that the NDC have allowed NPP men to come and marry their women, and then the children that come out of that union,
they are confused.
No, they are not confused. They become NPP. Therefore, in conclusion, NDC women should marry NDC.
Do you support this subject this to all sorts of analysis? Anyone, do you support this claim?
Do you support the claim? Yes or no?
Move on.
I support it. Yes.
In the first place, if you read President Akufo-Addo's memoir, he was an Nkrumahist when he was a boy.
Yes.
So even though
he was confused.
Yes, that's what the problem is. No, because you see, political parties seek to entrench their hold. They want to move forward and make sure that they get more members. Now, if you are not sure of the future of your children, how do you convert other people to eat your food?
I'm shocked.
Yes.
This is a form of a...
So I understand. It sounds weird, but I understand the logic behind.
Whenever there's a naming ceremony in my church, yes. Whenever there's a naming ceremony in my church, we call it biological evangelism. So, so this is also biological.
This is political evangelism?
No. This is. I'll find a big word for it soon. Yes, but we are going online. We have to go online now. The online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goil Good Energy. It's a new year and it's still good energy with Goil, your reliable energy partner. Enhancing your engine performance and prolonging the life expectancy of your vehicle should be a top priority. So continue to get the best quality and value for money from Goil Super XP and Diesel XP and trusted range of lubricants from our 360 service stations across the country. Now, to all of our valued customers, we say thank you. We say we value our partnership with you. Because of you, you are still number one. Because of you, we are still number one and still CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. Let's continue the partnership to build our economy. Goil, good energy. Goil, proudly Ghanaian. Goil, Yenara, Yedia. The online stories come. Ablakwa wants bipartisan parliamentary inquiry into the men's gold saga. I think it would be a good idea. Raymond, what do you think? That there should be a bipartisan parliamentary inquiry into the men's gold saga?
No, they did what was the name of the other one. The banking, we didn't hear anything from it. Please, we have state institutions who have to act. I mean, I don't support the bipartisan.
If it's made public, then
but that you tell us that it's also another security matter.
Okay, there's
but I feel that in and out camera business, it would have been dead long time.
There's an inspirational story that you would want to read on myjoyonline.com. From tabletop groundnut seller to regional CEO of UBA, the story of Abiola M. Bewa. Wow, you want to read this one and be inspired. Joybusinessnews.com says change in ECG management won't result in price hikes, PORC assures. BBC.com says Zimbabwe protests after petroleum and diesel price hike. You know, petroleum prices have gone up by 150% in Zimbabwe. It's a very, very serious thing. Okay, we're going to take these important messages. When we come back, we take the BBC News at 7. This is the Super Morning Show. Stay with us.
This was Kwame's life before Interplast in Green.